of Inappropriate Movie Database, the comedy game show about content warnings. I'm your host, Nick Martucci. Uh, the more of these episodes I do, the more I realize setting up a tournament finale means that your finale lasts so long. There's so many shows involved in this, and it feels like I've been saying goodbye to this for so long now. I feel like I've been on, like when the Rolling Stones or somebody play their farewell tour for 5 years and then come back the next year. That's sort of what this show is right now. I don't have to explain anything to you, I think. If you're watching Game 8 of the finale tournament of Inappropriate Movie Database, you know that my friends here are going to try to guess movies from terrible parental warnings I pulled from IMDb. What you may not know, if you haven't been following along that closely, is that we're doing 9 games in the first round. Those 9 winners, as well as up to 7 of the non-winning high scorers, move on to the semifinals. We do 4 games there. Those 4 winners compete for the finale, where the winner will win, as of last week, as of a contribution from that sweetheart Connor Shanahan, prizes up to $150 for the winner. I get the feeling that some, if not all, of my contestants were not aware that that is what's on store if you win 3 of these. Or win 2 of them and just do really well at one of them. Uh, yeah, this is the second to last one. I'm so thrilled to have this group of people in. We've got some of my favorites. We got some people who have been on so few shows, and I'm so disappointed that I'm like, yes, finally, you're back right as we're ending. I really hope we can keep going with some of you. Let's bring them in. Let's go for stats. Let's start off with somebody who has been on 7 shows, has won once, has earned a total of 16 points in his 7 shows. Maxwell Shultz back to the show. Welcome, Maxwell.
Hey, I didn't know it was possible my stats were that high.
uh,
Uh,
they sure are. This is going to be a fun game, Maxwell.
I love the idea that I feel like I have historically been terrible at this game, and I love the idea that I could win it all in the finale.
I mean, we've had a few people so far in these first games get their first wins.
Wow.
So I'm saying this is anybody's game. I'm also saying right now, of combined scores, you have the highest on this panel.
What?
Uh,
Oh my goodness. This
so
is amazing.
let's bring in our next guest. It has been I did the math, about 160 shows since they last appeared on this show. Uh, Been on 2 games, won one of them, combined score in those 2 games of 11 points. Robbie Fox back on the show. Welcome back, Robbie.
I'm so thrilled to be here. 50-50, baby. Could go either way.
Yeah, it's a shame that I'll have to wait another, I think, 170 games before I have you back, but I really hope you do well now.
We'll see how long the finale goes. We'll see how long the
That's gonna
farewell
be a
tour.
long, yeah, wow.
Uh, Also returning to the show, like I said, somebody who has only done the game once, and I am so excited for her to get her first win tonight. Hali Akers, welcome back to the show.
Ah, it's me.
Yeah, this really feels like I look the people who have been on so little and haven't had the chance yet. I feel like this is in your favor. And finally, returning to the show, I shared her stats to her before we went live, and I'm so happy to share them again because she's one of my favorites. 15 games, 1 win. In those 15 games, she has earned a total of negative 30 points. Nikk Tetreault, welcome back to the show.
Hello, Nick. Glad to be back.
I am so thrilled to have you here. I couldn't have ended the show without having you on at least one more time.
That's really sweet and kind. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, thank you all for being here. Like I said, everybody but Haley, who's only been on once, has won one game that they've been on. So this is really for anybody. I think we've had a few upsets. I think that this is going to be a real competitive episode. I hope. We'll see. But I've talked enough. Let's get into it. The other thing, since we are not doing themes for the final episodes, what I will give you after you pick a year is at least 3 themes that movie would have fit in. And if you want to guess for 5 points on that clue, you can guess for 5 points there.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
You sure can.
Are any of these movies repeats from the last 300 or so games?
A few of them. Originally, my plan was just to use the ones that I had left that hadn't been used, and it turns out I started going through those real quickly.
So there's a chance.
There is no chance that you have played the movie before.
Oh, okay.
I am organized enough that I went through and made sure that the movies I have were not used in the games that you've played.
Okay.
As if anybody's going to remember. Like, I do this show. I run this show. I can watch it the next day and play along.
Deadpool 2 haunts me.
The Rescuer 3 further down.
Well, let's get into this. Let's not waste any more time. I will be going in alphabetical order, and every time I say that, I worry so badly that I messed up the alphabet, which should be the easiest thing. It's in alphabetical order. But Haley, looks like we're going to you first. Should we start with a movie from 1946, 2008, or 2015?
Let's go 2008.
2008. All right, this movie from 2008 has a female director, it has a titular character, and it is a rotten movie on Rotten Tomatoes that I really enjoy. I know that is a very subjective clue, but the other clues, I'm sure, are just as unhelpful.
Clarifying question.
Yes, Nick.
Is a rotten movie a bad movie? Or
a rotten movie is a movie that under 60% of critics gave a positive review to.
I have a clarifying question. If I were
yes,
to make
Robbie.
If I were to make a guess now and I got it wrong, would I lose 5
you
points?
You would lose 1 point.
Okay. I think I'm a wait.
Okay, it doesn't look like Maxwell's going to wait, though. What do you think, Maxwell?
I know I'm wrong.
Okay.
But is it Lady Bird?
It is not Lady Bird. Surprisingly, that one got pretty good reviews for an Oscar-nominated movie.
Look, I don't know. I knew I was wrong, but I had to ask.
Also, I think it came out 10 years after 2008.
Well, I don't know when anything happens.
Maxwell, I'm so happy you're back on the show. And
I am too.
Top of the rankings. For 5 points under profanity, 70 F words, and a lot of other milder language. Russian strong profanities are also used. Robbie has a guess. Anybody else? Maxwell also has a guess. I think Nick is also trying to signal. Yes. All right, Nick, what do you think? You are muted.
Every damn day.
Every time.
Is this Electra?
Maxwell, what do you think?
Is it Aeon Flux?
Robbie, what do you think?
I'm also going to say Electra.
Rats.
I believe Electra is a PG-13 rated movie, probably has fewer than 70 fucks in it. Aeon Flux is a rotten movie that I think is really entertaining, but it is not Aeon Flux either.
Rats.
Yeah, I think Aeon Flux falls into every one of those categories. So great guess. It's
I
it's
appreciate
it's
that.
wrong, but great guess.
No, I appreciate that.
For 4 points under violence and gore, a man is mercilessly axed by one of the villains. He is later shown with his torso chopped to ribbons, with the axe sticking out of his torso. For 3 points under violence and gore, Jigsaw snaps a doctor's neck. Nick has a guess. Anybody else? It looks like Haley also has a guess. Haley, what do you think this movie is?
Is it Saw 2?
Nick, what do you think?
How important is the number, Nick?
What do you think this movie is?
I think that this is Saw, and if I had to choose a number, I'd say 3.
I will say that you are both incorrect.
Woof.
For 2 points under frightening and intense scenes, almost the same level of explicit violence as the Netflix series, but not as thematically dark. Robbie has a guess. Anybody else? Maxwell also, Nick also has a guess. Okay, Nick, what do you think?
Saw.
Maxwell, what do you think?
Jigsaw?
Robbie, what do you think?
Jennifer's Body.
It is not Saw. It is not Jigsaw. Jennifer's Body is another great guess. That is another. I believe Jennifer's Body is directed by the same woman who directed Aeon Flux, so a lot of love for Karen Kasama tonight. But unfortunately, all of those are incorrect. Last clue for 1 point. We're starting the game real well. 1 point under frightening and intense scenes. While this film may have much more violence and gore than the 2004 film, it's all either fake-looking or just downright ridiculous, making some of it unintentionally funny. However, it's still pretty graphic nonetheless. We got 3 hands up. Anybody else? Robbie, what do you think?
Blood Rain.
Haley, what do you think?
Is it Saw 4?
Nick, what do you think?
Saw 4.
You both fell into the trap. This isn't a Saw movie.
No. No.
This is a different Jigsaw. This movie is directed by the wonderful Lexi Alexander. It is called Punisher Warzone. It is a movie about the Punisher, and it's super violent and so much fun. It's got a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's an injustice. So I think I correctly tabulated all of the guesses in the last round. Haley, you're in the lead with -2 points. Maxwell and Robbie at -3. Nick at -4. Go watch Punisher Warzone. Maxwell, would you like a movie from 1956, 2005, or 2015?
2005.
2005. This movie from 2005 is a remake. IMDb calls it a sports movie, and there's an animal in the title. Okay, for 5 points under profanity, a man says a few insults to the kids that some might not find funny. Nick has a guess. Robbie has a guess. Anybody else? Maxwell also has a guess. We're doing it. Maxwell, what do you think?
Is it King Kong?
Robbie, what do you think?
Kangaroo Jack.
Nick, what do you think? Okay. I assume Nick is not guessing. You are still muted, my friend.
Good Lord. Okay, you know what? I'm keeping it on the whole time. It stayed on the whole time. My guess is Air Bud, the remake of Air Bud. We all saw the Air Bud from the 80s. It was a mess.
I mean, that was called Teen Wolf. It's actually a reverse remake, and that one, the basketball player becomes a dog. In the new one, it's just a dog. It is not Air Bud. It is not King Kong. And Robbie's the only one who guessed something with an animal in the title, but it's also not Kangaroo Jack. I mean, an actual animal, not the name of an animal in the movie. Now that we've got that cleared up. For 4 points under sex and nudity, the team at one point goes out to Hooters. For 3 points under profanity.
Wait, I have it.
You have it. What is it, Nick?
The Mighty Ducks.
It is not the Mighty Ducks, but that does fit the categories better, except that they haven't remade it yet. For 3 points under profanity, surprisingly, no F words, but lots of obnoxious language by kids and coach. Also, the middle finger hand gesture was used a bunch too. Haley has a guess. Anybody else? All right, Haley, what do you think?
Is it the Bad News Bears?
This is the Billy Bob Thornton Bad News Bears.
That's brilliant.
It is also the first guess of that round that fit all 3 categories. Okay, well, that means Haley remains in first place now with 1 point. Maxwell and Robbie both at -4, Nick at -6. Nick, would you like a movie from 1981, 2008, or 2017?
2017, please.
2017. I can tell you of this movie from 2017. It's a sequel. It's based on a book. There is at least one musician in the cast. And on IMDb, it is rated under a 5 out of 10. It is a bad movie, according to IMDb.
I started working at AMC movie theaters in 2017.
So you should know this.
Wait, can you tell me all of the information again?
I sure can. This is a sequel. It's based on a book. There's at least one musician in the cast, and it has under a 5 out of 10 on IMDb, so they think it's a bad movie.
The sequel based on a book with a musician. That's a lot.
That is a lot of information. Let's see. Oh, Robbie has a guess, though. What do you think, Robbie?
Is it The Maze Runner?
It is not The Maze Runner. And just for clarification, what is The Maze Runner a sequel to?
I thought there was a 2-part. I thought there was a Maze Runner Part 1, a Maze Runner Part 2. I never read it. I don't know.
Okay, well, for 5 points under violence and gore, a helicopter crashes, and it's unclear for a little while what happens to the pilot and the passenger.
You'd think I'd remember a plane crash.
I mean, you might, but focus on helicopters crashing.
I'm so sorry, Nick.
Do not be. I'm having so much fun. I hope that I hope that you know this is all in love. For 4 points under sex and nudity, a woman is wearing lingerie. A man approaches her, tells her to bend over, and inserts some Benoit balls into her vagina. He then kisses her butt. No nudity is shown. Robbie has a guess. Nick has a guess. Anybody else? Nick, what do you think this movie is?
So, God, I swear this isn't a bit. I swear it's not a bit.
I know.
So it's the sequel to 50 Shades of Grey, is what I'm thinking. It's the sequel. So 50 Shades of Grey, I think the sequel's like 50 Shades Darker. Or 50
Robbie,
Shades
what do you think?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think 50 Shades of Grey, and I do believe the sequel is called 50 Shades Darker.
You are both correct on all counts. This is 50 Shades Darker.
Oh!
Rita Ora is in that cast for some reason. She's the musician. The other clues in that, because I didn't get to them, several uses of fuck, ass, asshole, shit, goddamn, Jesus Christ, and my God used as exclamations, plus some quote-unquote dirty talk.
And these are the parental warnings.
These are the parental
warnings
warnings for 50 Shades Darker.
In
Watch
case any
out,
parents...
They're gonna say Jesus Christ in this movie. Sex and nudity. A man asks a woman to remove her underwear while at a restaurant. She hands him her panties and he places it in his pocket. Later, they are in an elevator with other people while the man lifts up her skirt and starts to pleasure her. She moans silently and he tells her not to come. I feel like that shouldn't be too hard. And sex and nudity. Many long, explicit sex scenes with nudity, mostly bare breasts and buttocks, but also occasional glimpses of pubic hair, though no full frontal as in the first film. Portrays light bondage and submission/domination scenarios, as well as oral sex and the use of several sex/novelty toys/aids. It feels like there are more sex scenes in the film than the first one, since Anna and Christian are together for more of this movie. Also on IMDb, it's got a 4.6 out of 10. Well, with that, Haley's still in the lead at 1 point. Robbie at -1, Nick at -2, Maxwell at -4.
We got time.
There's plenty of time. There's so many movies left. Robbie, would you like a movie from 1982, 2001, or 2014?
Let's do 2014.
2014. Okay, this movie from 2014 is a sequel. It has multiple directors, and it features at least one former Saturday Night Live cast member.
I have an idea.
Okay, Nick, what is your idea?
You know what? I want to wait for that first clue.
All right, wait for the first clue. You do what feels right to you.
Nick, could I ask you to repeat those three things?
You sure can. This is a sequel. It has multiple directors, and it features at least one former cast member of Saturday Night Live.
And this is 2014?
2014, yes.
How many points do I lose if I guess?
Just one.
Okay.
So you will lose your point if you guess. Maxwell's fine. He's got plenty of points to lose. Maxwell, what do you think?
I'm taking a real shot in the dark, but is it Alvin and the Chipmunks 2, The Squeakquel?
I love that guess, but it is not The Squeakquel.
Damn it.
All right, for 5 points under sex and nudity, pretty much the same kind of humor as the first one. Slapstick humor and more crude sex jokes. Okay, Nick, what do you think?
Is this Ted 2?
This is not Ted 2.
All right.
For 4 points under profanity, one clear use of the F word in two damn, hell, and shit, quote, show us your tits, both of them, towards the end. One variation of the word vagina, i.e., grandagina, used in a comedic scene. Also, one use of what the fuck by Stephen Hawking, 5 uses of bitch, and 4 uses of son of a bitch and a hair of the dog. Robbie has a guess. Anybody else? Maxwell also has a guess. Okay, Maxwell, what do you think this movie is?
I hope my downfall is that I get the name of this wrong. It's the Ed Helms Vacation. I think it's just called Vacation.
Robbie, what do you think?
I was gonna say, I think it's called. Well, I realize now it came out way before, but I'll say it anyway. Superhero movie. Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, it is not superhero movie, and it is not Vacation. Put your hand down.
I tried. I didn't know what I was doing. All right, for my sanity though, is that the name of the Ed Helms?
That is
one?
the name of the movie. It's just Vacation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was gonna bug me.
For 3 points under sex and nudity, an act of depraved behavior between a person and an animal is implied between a teenager and his dog. He lathers peanut butter on his genitals, implied off screen, and calls his dog into his room after telling it to shut the door. The dog approaches him, and we see his pleasured face before the sequence is interrupted. Nick knows all the movies where a teen fucks a dog. What do you think, Nick?
It was more just a question.
Yes, what's up?
Nick, why have you chosen a movie where a kid
You don't see it happen.
Nick.
I mean, fair question. Robbie, do you have a guess, or you just also want to condemn me?
No, I understand why you'd put a movie like that in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Conceptually, I want to say this is an American Pie sequel. But I don't know what number. I don't know how many there are now. I'm gonna just toss out like American Pie 5.
It is not American Pie 5. 2 points under violence and gore. Harry is said to have had a partial lobotomy and shock treatment. Played for laughs. Maxwell, what do you think this movie is?
The Three Stooges?
It is not the Three Stooges. Nobody can fault this group for not guessing. This is the complete opposite of so many games we've had. You all are playing. Let's see if you know this movie. Frightening and intense scenes for 1 point. After a blind kid was given Harry and Lloyd's cat, the cat kills all of the boy's birds, which can be unsettling for some viewers. Haley has a guess. Anybody else? Nick also has a guess. Nick, what do you think this movie is?
Weekend at Bernie's, the Squeakquel.
Oh, I wish. Haley, what do you think?
The Dumb and Dumber where they're young in high school. I don't know what it's called.
It is. I mean, I'm really glad you specified. You won't be, but I'm really glad you specified. It is not the Dumb and Dumber where they are young and in high school. It is, in fact, the Dumb and Dumber when they are old, called Dumb and Dumber 2, T.O. The sequel to Dumb and Dumber that we all waited so long to see. It's not a good movie. You know what makes the characters from Dumb and Dumber less fun? When they're played by guys pushing 60. So that's fun. We did that. Also, if you're wondering, on top of a cameo from Bill Murray, Rob Riggle, SNL's Rob Riggle, is in this movie. So that clue was also a very unhelpful clue. Haley remains in the lead. Now it's 0 points. Robbie at -3, Nick at -4, Maxwell at -7. Haley, we go back to you. Would you like a movie from 1930, 1973, or 2005?
I'm going to say 2005.
Okay, 2005. This movie also has a female director. It also is under 5 out of 10 on IMDb. It was nominated for Kids' Choice Award for Choice Kids Movie. And it features an actor who has played Batman in a movie. That's a whole lot of clues. Actors played Batman, female director, Kids' Choice Award nominee, and it's bad. For 5 points under frightening and intense scenes, the hospital and crash scenes could seem intense to very young children. 2 hands shot up way quicker than I expected, but one of them went way down as quickly as I expected. Nick, what do you think this movie is?
I think that this is Hilary Duff, stars in it. It's called Raise Your Voice.
It is not Raise Your Voice.
Come on.
I know. I really wish it was.
I feel like I was close there.
I will say there's something about that might be close, but other than that, it's not. For 4 points under profanity, pretty strong and frequent for a G-rated movie by today's standards, including at least 8 uses of "oh my god," 2 of "god," and 1 use of "swear to God." Also, 1 crap. Robbie, what do you think?
I think it's called Big Fish.
Nick, what do you think?
That's a really good guess. My guess is Aquamarine.
It is not Big Fish. It is also not Aquamarine. And I really hate to say, I think 2 episodes was when we finally used Aquamarine, 2 episodes ago. For 3 points under frightening and intense scenes, the demolition derby scene could be frightening or worrying to a very sensible audience. For 2 points under sex and nudity, mild sensuality comments, bare midriffs, miniskirts, and a kiss. Some actions by a car towards a younger car, a new Volkswagen Beetle. Yeah, Nick and Haley have buzzed in. Max, everybody's buzzed in. Robbie, what do you think this movie is?
Cars.
Maxwell, what do you think?
Before I guess, could I have a clarification on what year we are in again?
We are in 2005.
Herbie Fully Loaded.
Haley, what do you think?
I also think it's Herbie Fully Loaded.
Nick, what do you think?
Herbie Fully Loaded.
I'm sorry to say this, Robbie. This is Herbie Fully Loaded.
See, I heard car.
Yeah, the closeness in my head was it's not Hilary Duff, it's Lindsay Lohan. And it's Michael Keaton for some reason.
Wait. I'm
What's
so
up?
sorry. I know none of them are watching this. I just convinced a group of people that Michael Keaton's my uncle today, and I wanted to let you know.
I mean, I appreciate you coming clean to me. I mean, that's uncle's a little too close in the family line for that lie.
I agree.
Cousin's uncle or something. That is a great person, a Michael Keaton lie. Did they believe you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, great. Then that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Last clue in this under frightening and intense scenes. Younger kids may be worried when we see cars being smashed and crushed in a junkyard, with the titular car being next. A forklift then picks him up and starts to take him over to the crusher, but he ends up falling onto another car that the main character originally wanted as her gift. Haley is now at 2 points. Nick in second place with -4. Maxwell at -5. Robbie at -6.
I'm coming back.
Maxwell, would you like a movie from 1962, 1973, or 2007?
73.
73.
Yeah.
All right. This movie from 1973 is based on a true story. There is a titular character, and it later became a TV show.
(1973)
1973. For 5 points under sex and nudity, an officer forcefully removes money from the pockets of a man in police custody, briefly revealing his backside as his pants are ripped. For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, all right, Maxwell's deserted us and Nick has buzzed in. Nick, what do you think?
Is it Columbo?
It is not the television series Columbo. For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, tense fear hanging over the title character. For 3 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, marijuana cigarettes are passed around to upcoming detectives in a classroom. They are smoked, described as good. Which is normally how I would describe a marijuana cigarette. Nick, what do you think?
Is this Cops?
Maxwell, what do you think?
Wait, that doesn't have a titular character. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake.
Well, my movie definitely has a titular character. It's the year that I'm questioning, but is it Fritz the Cat?
Oh, what a weird guess, Maxwell. It is not Fritz the Cat. And I think Nick already answered her question. Yeah, Fritz and the Cat is a movie I've used twice on this show, and both times had to apologize for reading the clues.
That's fair.
That's
raunchy.
a real. That movie is not a movie that anybody wants to hear about out of context or see in context.
I tell so many people about it.
Yeah. For 2 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, drugs and drug deals, i.e., heroin, are discussed, including taking and soliciting bribes from dealers. Last clue for 1 point under violence and gore. A plainclothes officer chases down a man on the street, then beats him in a bathroom as part of a money laundering scheme. The victim is held down in a toilet. Okay, well, apologies to Al Pacino. This is Serpico.
I see why Fritz was a weird guess now.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Also, it's even weirder when you remember the very first thing I said to you is that this was based on a true story.
Look, I got distracted and I'm sorry. I'm so happy that Fritz the Cat is not autobiographical or biographical for that matter.
With that, Haley in the lead at 2 points. Nick in second place with -6. Robbie in second place with -6. And Maxwell in second place with -6.
I feel pretty good.
We're halfway through the game. So all of these scores can at least double. Nick, would you like a movie from 1953, 1990, or 2019?
2019, please.
Okay. 2019, this movie features at least one musician. IMDb calls it a romance, and the title is 2 words long.
Oh no. I forgot the title because I feel like I know what it is. Nope, it's wrong.
Okay, for 5 points under sex and nudity, male news anchors make rude comments about women in this romance. Nick, what do you think?
Anchorman 2.
It is not Anchorman 2. The legend continues.
The romance continues.
I mean, there is some romance in that movie. If I remember correctly, I only saw that one once. As far as I know, it didn't actually happen. For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, there's a scene in which characters are in a compound which falls under attack, with bullets going through windows, explosions, loud booms, and collapsing ceilings. While the movie ultimately ends up playing it for laughs, it's a rather jarring and unexpected transition. Nick, what do you think?
Okay, I know exactly what this movie is because I've seen it multiple times. It stars Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen, and it's about her becoming the president. And it has a title. And long shot. Is it long shot? Is it long shot? Long shot. Long shot.
I think this might be the very first time you've done that, and I get to say, Nick, you are correct. This movie is called Long Shot.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome. Also in Long Shot, Sex and Nudity, Rogan is shown from the waist up, being secretly filmed through his computer camera, masturbating, and then discharge flies onto his beard. Don't we hate it when that happens?
Yes, also you said that and my mother walked away.
Sex and Nudity, some sexist comments are made to Charlize Theron, and alcohol, drugs, and smoking. I like this clue because it's one of the clues I haven't had one in a while, where obviously 2 people edited this clue and one person is arguing with the other person. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. The main character, who is running to be the first woman president, takes drugs, ecstasy, with her boyfriend multiple times at a party. While drug affected, she's called in to handle a sensitive hostage negotiation. In all caps, slang terms were placed in accordance with IMDb guidelines. Just in case you wanted to know, somebody replaced the slang terms in that clue, according to IMDb guidelines. So that's fun to me. Uh,
I'm still here. I'm just grabbing a charger.
okay, I believe you. Uh, Haley's still at 2. Nikk has moved up to second place at -3. Maxwell and Robbie both at -6. Robbie, would you like a movie from 1955, 2013, or 2022?
Let's do 2022.
All right, this movie from 2022 has a pronoun in its title. Its title is a full sentence, and it has multiple directors. Okay, for 5 points under sex and nudity, a clothed teen boy is grinding the ground in a sexual manner. For 4 points under sex and nudity, someone sucks a teen male's toes. It's done in a sexual way. For 3 points under violence and gore, bloody images as well as scenes of gory stabbings. The violence is infrequent, but when it does happen, it is used for shock value and is very intense in its injury detail. A woman vigorously slaps her face repeatedly. A boy nearly gouges his own eye out. Brief but graphic.
Is this like one of those things where you wrote the movie?
I wish I wrote this movie. For 2 points under frightening and intense scenes, the possession scenes are intense as characters writhe, convulse, and have to be restrained. Their eyes turn black and their faces swell and turn red. Highly unsettling and disturbing. Last clue for 1 point under frightening and intense scenes. None of you have seen this movie, so let's you see the main character's POV as she tries the cursed hand, where sudden appearances of disfigured beings show up. They are unsettling to look at and make for effective jump scares. Robbie has a guess. Anybody else? Robbie, do you know what this movie is?
This Talk to Me?
This is Talk to Me.
Well, I thought that was way later than 2022 for some reason.
Way later. There's only been a year and a half since then.
I think what happened is it originally came out like real late in 2022 and is mostly thought of as a 2023 movie, but IMDb has it as 2022.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure I called it my favorite movie of 2023. I just, if you love horror and have not seen Talk to Me, it is incredible. Okay, yeah. So Robbie has got up to -5, still in third place. Maxwell at -6, Nikk at -3, Haley at 2. We've got 4 movies left. One more go around, one more for each of you. That means there's still 20 points on the board. This could still go in any direction.
Question.
Yes, Nikk.
If we win today,
Uh-huh.
do we move to the next round even if our score is really low? Or are you doing it based on the highest scores?
I will say, as unjustly as it sounds, whoever wins tonight will be guaranteed a spot in the semifinals.
All right.
Okay. Haley, would you like a movie from 1983, 1995, or 2015?
Let's do 2015.
All right. This movie from 2015 is under 90 minutes long. It's based on TV. It's rated PG and has at least one non-human protagonist. Robbie, what do you think this movie is?
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
It is not Clifford the Big Red Dog. For 4 points under profanity, verbally none, as the film has no spoken dialogue. Robbie has another guess. Anybody else? What do you think, Robbie?
Shaun the Sheep.
This is Shaun the Sheep movie. Well done.
I remember my dad taking me to see that in theaters. It's a good movie. It's a very adorable movie.
I remember seeing that movie by myself in theaters as a person in their mid-20s. It was a less charming experience, but the movie's great. Also in Shaun the Sheep, violence and gore, when the farmer is suffering from amnesia, he ends up in a barber shop and, in a semi-conscious state, forcibly shaves a person's head. Played for laughs. Frightening and intense scenes. The film is a bit intense towards the end as the animal capturer tries to drop the main characters into a quarry. And sex and nudity, a recurring plot element, is a couple of sheep dressing up as a woman, and the animal capturer trying to woo her/them. Nothing graphic. And just so you know, when people say that their pronoun is they, them, they mean that they are sheep pretending to be a person. Haley is at 2. Robbie has moved to second place at -2. Nikk at -3. Maxwell at -6. Maxwell, would you like a movie from 1946, 1956, or 1981?
Oh God.
I'm so sorry.
81.
81. This movie from 1981 has a number in the title. It is a sequel, and film critic Roger Ebert hated it. It is included in Ebert's book. I hated this movie. So that is how I know he hated it. Robbie, what do you think this movie is?
Rush Hour 2.
Nikk, what do you think?
Oh, I had a clarifying question.
Yes.
When you say that the title has a number in it.
Not the sequel number.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And no, it is not 1981's Rush Hour 2. But that is a good question. I'm glad you asked it. The number in the title is unrelated to the fact that it's a sequel. For 4 points under sex and nudity, a woman undresses and goes skinny dipping in a lake. She's shown naked from relatively far away, and the scene is darkly lit. Nudity only seen when she goes into and comes out of the lake. Breasts and butt seen, and pubic hair occasionally visible. She covers her breasts and crotch for part of the time. Not a sexual scene. For 3 points under frightening and intense scenes, the film has several killing and chase scenes in an isolated location with intense music. I'm seeing faces making thoughts. Nick, what do you think this movie is?
Friday the 13th 2.
Robbie, what do you think?
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Uh, Robbie, I need to clarify again. 1981.
I don't fucking
The
know
year
what
that
shit
Friday the 13th Part 2 came out. This is Friday the 13th Part 2. Also in this movie, violence and gore, a man and a woman are impaled off screen with a spear while in bed. Later, they're discovered by another woman who herself gets her thigh slashed with a large knife, and the man's body is briefly seen placed against a wall and covered in blood. And violence and gore, a man in a wheelchair is hit on the face with a machete. It becomes lodged in his head, and he falls down a flight of stairs. I also have a line from Roger Ebert's review from this movie. About 24 movies a year feature a mad killer going berserk, and they're all about as bad as this one. Some have a little more plot, some have a little less. It doesn't matter. I don't know why this one makes his book, but not the first Friday the 13th, where Siskel and Ebert gave out the actress's address on TV because they hated the movie so much and said that people should send her letters. So that's a fun little thing about our favorite movie critic. We got 2 movies left. Haley at 2, Nick at 0 points. Robbie at -4, Maxwell at -6. There's 10 points on the board and only 8 points separate the high and low scores. So what I'm saying is Maxwell takes some big swings.
All right.
Nick, would you like a movie from 1962, 1982, or 2008?
2008, was that the start of the recession?
I think that's right about when we started realizing we were in a recession.
And what the other one before that was 1982?
82. Unless you
Yeah,
want to go with 62.
Nah. Yeah, it's 2008.
2008. This movie has under 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is written and directed by the same person, and it has a 2-word title. For 5 points under sex and nudity, a woman's purse is searched and a positive pregnancy test is inside.
What?
All right, the first of Maxwell's big swings. What do you think?
All right, big swing. Here we go. This is The Room.
It is not The Room.
Big swing.
That was a big swing. It might be the big swing that definitely lost you the game, but it was a big swing.
Hey, they could all guess every other time, and I could get it right next guess.
That's true. For 4 points under violence and gore, it's implied that a man is killed by a lawnmower, but never seen. For 3 points under frightening and intense scenes, the nature of the film can make viewers afraid of plants.
Plans or plants?
Plants.
Okay.
Like the green stuff outside. Haley has a guess. Anybody else? Haley, what do you think this movie is?
So I want to clarify first. You said plants, like flowers and
Like flowers, trees, all of that good nature.
Okay. Is it The Happening?
This is The Happening. M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening.
And that's what lost me the game. Can I just for the sake of me and you and everybody say what I was gonna guess, and then I decided because I couldn't think of the fucking name of this movie.
Sure.
I still don't know the name of it, but the Natalie Portman movie all about cancer, but it's sci-fi.
Oh, Annihilation.
Yes.
I can
Every
see
time I say that,
that.
they're like, "What cancer movie?"
Because it's real weird to describe a movie with like an alien deformed human plant bear as the Natalie Portman cancer movie.
That's what it is.
Well, it's not a complete runaway yet. Pretty close to a runaway, but not a complete runaway yet. Haley at 5, Nikk at 0, Robbie at -4, Maxwell at -7. Nikk, you
Really
need
trying
to
for third.
Nikk, you need to get it right on one of the 5-point clues in order to tie the game. But Robbie gets to pick the movie. Robbie, would you like a movie from 1930, 1973, or 2007?
Do 2007
That's what I thought.
there. Yeah.
All right, last movie of the night. Why don't I give you a couple of clues first before you take a guess on the year? Because I'm going to give them anyway.
Big swings.
Yeah, but at least wait for the swing to be there.
I'm not good at baseball.
You're just flailing around in the batter's box at this point.
I'm probably hurting other people.
I think that a lot.
I should stop hurting other people. You're right.
This movie from 2007 has a titular character. It's got at least one musician in it, and it has at least one former SNL cast member in it.
Oh. Can I ask a question? Mine's a question.
Yes, what is your question?
Is the musician somebody that's known as a musician, or there is an actor who is playing music in it?
I would say that there is a musician known as a musician in this movie.
It's 2007?
It's 2007.
All right.
Thought for sure you'd guess. Maxwell, what is your big swing?
Okay, so like, believe it or not, my answer didn't change.
Hell yeah.
But is it Zach and Miri make a porno?
It is not Zach and Miri make a porno.
I don't think that was a bad guess.
Yeah, it was fine.
Wait, so it's titular character,
Titular
2007, musicians in it. What's the other thing?
At least one former Saturday Night Live actor in it.
These fuckers.
Yeah, those comedians, they've been in a lot of things. Musicians do movies sometimes.
Mm.
For 5 points under sex and nudity, and I could have read this, and Maxwell's guess still wouldn't have changed, and he would have been fair for that. A man is seen fully nude in a non-sexual shot. Maxwell has another guess. Haley has a guess. Anybody else? Haley, what do you think this movie is?
Is it Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Maxwell, what do you think?
Oh, I know it's Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
It is not Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
You're wrong.
Turns
I would
out,
have bet my life that it was Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I'm so glad you didn't. Yeah, it turns out at least a few movies had a non-sexual dong in it. But I will say, Nikk, you're still in the game now for 4 points. Under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, a group of men do drugs and then hallucinate via an animated sequence. Very comical and hilarious.
Is it fully animated or just partial animation?
Group of men do drugs and then hallucinate via an animated sequence.
Hallucinate via an animated sequence. The men are doing drugs. Wait! No! No! Ah! No!
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If you think you might know it, there is absolutely no downside to you guessing right now.
But I don't have a name. I can't think of a name. Wait, it's 2007.
2007.
There's a musician and an SNL cast member, and there's a titular character. And it's 2007.
I know I'm giving a lot here, but
Wait, there's a dong. There's a dong.
There's a dong,
But
there's
it's
some
not
drugs,
sexual.
there's some animation.
Can I redact my hand?
You sure can.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll try this. Nick.
So there's a guy and his name. We all know. I think we all remember the name. Wait, nope, that's not 2007.
This is going to be such a bummer when Robbie doesn't actually know what this is.
Can I reinsert my hand?
If I had $1.
I'm so sad, Nick.
I'm so sorry.
I knew it so
If you
bad.
can't guess, yeah, I'll put you out of your misery.
Wait, I got one.
All right.
Is it Tommy?
Maxwell, what do you think this movie is?
Oh, you're gonna let me guess? Awesome.
I will say a guess hasn't been made yet, so you're more than
True.
welcome to guess.
Okay. All right. The only I'm not sure about is the SNL part, but is it Bruno?
And Robbie, what do you think?
Now, you know I'm bad with years, but I'm gonna say Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
It is not Bruno. It is not Tommy. This movie is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Let's go.
Wow.
Oh.
Real quick, guys, were we all just sitting here going, whose dick did I see in 2007? Because I was.
Yeah, you never would have known because you never see the guy's face.
Well, then. I'm sorry about that. He's probably great.
Also in Walk Hard, violence and gore, a young boy accidentally cuts his brother in half with a machete. This is played for laughs and not that graphic. Violence and gore, a man gets high on an unknown substance and goes on a rampage, flipping cars, running from cops, etc. Again, played for laughs. And violence and gore, a running gag is whenever the main character gets upset, he violently rips a sink out of the wall, parodying when angry characters randomly destroy things in films. I will say, there's probably others, but Tim Meadows, Kristen Wiig, and Chris Parnell all play big roles in this movie. And a whole lot of musicians in this movie. Jack White plays Elvis. And then there's like a tribute to Dewey Cox with a bunch of singers singing his stuff, like Jackson Browne, Jewel, Lyle Lovett, Ghostface Killer, Eddie Vedder, and of course, the Temptations are in it. Because Dewey must avoid the Temptations.
My first guess was going to be Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny because it checks some of the boxes.
It does.
But yeah.
Yeah. Again, if you haven't seen Walk Hard or haven't seen it in a while, it's one of the greatest parody movies of all time. And it is amazing that they kept making music biopics after this movie. Like if you go and see like Bohemian Rhapsody or something, it's like it's just Walk Hard. It's always Walk Hard. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. And one of my predictions may have become true, but first, Maxwell's in last place with -10 points.
Not my worst, not my best.
Nikk at -1, but I feel real bad about that -1. You should be at 0.
No, I did this to myself.
Robbie, however, did get up to 0. But for, I believe, the third time this tournament so far, with her first win with 4 points, Hali Akers is going to come back to the semifinals.
Yay me.
Oh, this was just such a joy. Thank you all for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time, and apparently I can't let it go.
So I'm sure that like half the people you've had in this tournament have asked you this, but I don't know. Would you ever revisit this?
I think there's always a possibility that this could come back in some form.
Cool.
I think for now, we're taking a break. Zoom shows are not what they used to be back when we pretended there was a pandemic instead of pretending there wasn't a pandemic. But I would love to at least. I'll say this because I want to wrap this up. Before we go, I'm going to give you all the opportunity if you want to promote anything, if you want to be found anywhere, if you have any last things you want to leave us on. First, I do want to say thank you, first and foremost, to the gentleman who was speaking there, because he was the last person to help me try to put on this as a live stage show, and I never was able to figure out the magic on stage, but I really appreciate the help and the support of Mr. Maxwell Shultz. Is there
Thank you
anything
so
you'd
much.
like to say before we go?
Oh yeah. I was only how many did I do? Like 7 or 8?
Yeah, this was number 8.
Oh wow, that was a really good guess on my part. Anyways,
I mean, I did tell you in the beginning, but yeah, still a great guess.
you all watched me smoke a joint at the beginning of this. I don't remember you saying that.
It's amazing
no,
any of us remember anything.
See, there we go. No, what I was saying was I've done this 8 times now, and I know that I probably should have done it more, but I love this show, and I'm excited to see what you do next. In terms of promoting things, if you live in northern Massachusetts, this Thursday, the 11th, that's not the date. This Thursday, the 25th, the 11th, something else. The 25th, I'm doing my full hour for free at Fortune Bar. And then if you're not from around here, on August 11th, I'm recording the new hour in Buffalo, New York at Nietzsche's Pub. And if anybody who sees this shows up there, that would mean so much to me and be so unlikely.
Yeah, go see Maxwell do his hour and listen to his albums. You have multiple ones, right?
I have 2, and I'm recording the third. The third one's going to be called Maxwell Shultz is Getting Married, because that's me, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Also, congratulations to Maxwell and Hali prematurely.
Thanks.
Let's also go again. I really, it's a shame we waited 170 episodes to do this again, but Robbie Fox, what a delight. Is there anything you would like to say before we go?
This is so much fun. I'm so happy I was able to come back and do this again. I'd say just follow my Instagram, Robbie_Fox Doty. And also, I have a podcast that I sort of started doing with my friend. We haven't released our first episode yet, but it's called Schlubs with Stubs. And we go to AMC and we do stupid shit and watch stupid movies and talk about that. We saw Madam Web 3 times in a row and recorded our thoughts. We were editing it still, but
Did you
Yeah.
record afterward or did you record in the empty theater?
We did. So we recorded before and then after
Yeah.
each screening.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience. But yeah, Schlubs with Stubs on Instagram. Yeah.
Great. I can't say enough good things about the next person I'm going to say goodbye to, and I really wish I could have found a way to get you into the semifinals. But just one of the most delightful people, one of the funniest people, just on this show, has consistently every episode. I don't watch this show. I do this show. I don't watch it. I have watched parts that you have done so many times. Nikk Tetreault, it's been such a wonderful delight to have you do this so many times. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Nick, you're such a joy. You created this beautiful thing, and it holds such a dear place in my heart. And I'm getting emotional over a friggin' Zoom show for this thing.
That is the nicest thing anybody said about this show.
No, this is truly such a joy, and I love you dearly, pal. You let me know if you need a couch in Chicago.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, whatever I do next, as long as I'm able to, either virtually or in person somewhere, I'm going to reach out to you if I can.
And I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's the and before it. It's the sounding like you're about to offer the same thing and then just saying thank you.
I don't know what I can offer you.
I'm just, I know that just tickled me.
Should you need a favor, I can make sure that happens. I'm so sorry to transition, but I guess to get it rolling, I'm so sorry. You can find me on Instagram at NIKK_is_dead, or go to nicktetreault.com. No way you know how to spell that. Or if you're in Chicago on Saturday, July 20. Oh my God, you're so prepared. If you're in Chicago on July 27th at 9:30 p.m., come see my solo show, Illegal Seafood, a Boston Baked Shit Show, at the Bughouse Theater.
I assume this is the same thing. You posted like a 10-minute version of this before, right? Or some sort of monologue related to it.
That's just 10 minutes of illegal seafood.
That 10 minutes is so fucking funny.
Thanks, pal. I'm glad I now know who the 3 views on it are.
No, I last time I went to Logan, as I'm walking through security, I see the legal seafood. I'm like, oh, I could buy a live lobster right now.
It is wild.
They just took away my little multi-tool from my wallet, but I could buy a live lobster right now. All right, Nick, thank you. Finally, our winner tonight. Somebody again. 2 times isn't enough. 3 times might not be enough. But I'm so happy. If you want, you're going to be coming back. Hali Akers, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Do what Max said, because that's also my livelihood.
Yeah, give them both money in the form of going to see Maxwell's comedy. Also, maybe money. I think
like it's a free show, but give me money.
In general, if you see like a comedian or something that makes you smile, give them money. Almost every one of them needs it. Not Jerry. Take Jerry Seinfeld's money and give it to every other comedian, and we could at least live for a couple of years.
Oh my goodness, we could.
Well, let's wrap this up. Thank you once again so much to Hali Akers, Maxwell Shultz, Nikk Tetreault, and Robbie Fox. I'm Nick Martucci. You can find me on all social media at Blundering Idiom. Find the show on Facebook if you search Inappropriate Movie Database or click the link in the description of this video. That's where you can get continued information about the tournament, as well as just anything else that comes next for either myself or any of the people that you like on this show. It's just a fun group. I'm not getting rid of it. Or you can go to Instagram and Twitter at IMDb Game. I'm not getting rid of those either, but I also almost never post to those, and I feel like that affected the viewership of this show, honestly. If I had to do it over again, I still might not. I don't tend to listen to my own advice. But follow the show in any of those places. We've got one game left before the semifinals. That's going to be on Monday, August 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Right now, it's a supersized show. I don't know for sure if it will stay a supersized show because it's 2 weeks away, and comedians have stuff. But for now, it's going to be Ama Marfo, George Newton, Carrie Coughlin, Kevin H. Brady, and Sammy Sky, and that is just a whole bunch of fun people. So watch for that. Semifinals are going to be starting probably a week or two after that. So stay in tune. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, tell an enemy to watch the video and make them like it. So you leave them alone. That could be like a little thing to get you off their back. I assume if they're your enemy, they're my enemy too. I forget how to end a show. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Goodbye.